I used to believe that letting someone go was the most loving thing you could do. That if you truly cared, you stepped aside and wished them happiness. I was wrong. Sometimes, letting go is just another way to run from fear. And I didn't understand that until the day I almost lost her forever. There was a time in my life when silence felt safer than hope. I had learned how to exist without expecting anything. No dreams that could break me. No promises I couldn't keep. My days were predictable. My nights were quiet. And I told myself, this was peace. Then she walked into my life without asking for permission. Not loudly, not dramatically, just gently. And somehow, that made everything harder. I remember the first time she sat across from me. She didn't smile right away. She looked at me like she was trying to understand what kind of man I was before deciding how much of herself she could show. That alone told me something. People who have never been hurt don't look that careful. We talked about nothing important. But I noticed everything. The way her hands moved when she explained things. The way her voice softened when she laughed. The way she paused before answering personal questions. Like she was choosing honesty instead of comfort. When she left, the room felt emptier than before she arrived. And that scared me. That night, I caught myself checking my phone. Waiting. For what? I didn't know. And that's when I realized. She was already inside my thoughts. We didn't rush. We became familiar. Coffee that turned into walks. Walks that turned into long conversations. Conversations that turned into silence that felt safe. She listened in a way that made you want to speak honestly. I hadn't felt that in years. So I started telling her things I usually kept buried. About my past. About the love I lost. About the fear that stayed. She never interrupted. She never tried to fix me. She just stayed. And staying is sometimes the most dangerous thing someone can do to you. I liked her more than I admitted. And I hated myself for it. Because liking someone meant risking everything I had built to protect myself. She noticed my distance. She always noticed. One evening, she asked softly, "Why do you pull away? Right when things feel real?" I didn't answer. Because the truth was ugly. I was afraid that if I let myself love her, I would lose her. And I didn't think I could survive that again. One night, we sat on the floor, backs against the wall. No music, no talking. Just breathing. She rested her head on my shoulder. I froze. Then slowly, I let myself relax. "This feels safe," she whispered. And in that moment, I knew something terrible. If she left, this would be the moment that haunted me. Love grew quietly, and that made it fragile. Because quiet love depends on honesty. And I was hiding too much. She had dreams bigger than the life I was offering. I saw it in her eyes when she talked about the future. She wanted movement, growth, risk. I wanted safety. And deep down, we both knew this difference would eventually demand a decision. We just didn't know who would make it first. The conversation didn't come with anger. It came with honesty. She told me about the opportunity. About the place she had always dreamed of going. She looked at me the way someone looks when they are silently begging for a reason to stay. My heart was screaming, but my mouth stayed quiet. She waited. Seconds felt like minutes. And then she realized I wasn't going to fight. Her eyes changed. Not angry, disappointed. And that look hurt more than any argument ever could. We didn't argue. We didn't cry right away. We hugged. Too long. Like two people trying to memorize each other. "Promise me something," she said quietly. "Don't disappear." "I won't," I lied. because disappearing was the only thing I knew how to do. After she left, everything felt wrong. The silence I once loved became unbearable. I replayed that moment again and again and again. Every version ended the same way. Me standing still, her walking away. Years passed. I became the man she needed back then. But by the time I was ready, she was gone, or so I thought. Years passed quietly, not in a dramatic way. No big changes, no sudden turns. Just time, doing what it does best. I built a life that worked. A life that made sense. I woke up early. I kept promises. I became reliable. From the outside, I looked fine. From the inside, I was unfinished. Because growth without love feels like progress that forgot its purpose. I dated. I tried to care. But every connection felt like a shadow of something I once had and let go. And the worst part? I knew exactly why. The man I became was the man she needed back then. And she never got to meet him. I met kind people, good people, people who deserved my attention. But love isn't polite. It doesn't appear because it should. It appears when something inside you opens. And mine was still holding her shape. Sometimes, late at night, I imagined running into her again. Not to fix things, just to see her, to know she was okay. I told myself that was enough. It wasn't. I heard her voice before I saw her. My body reacted before my mind could. That voice didn't belong to the past. It belonged to the part of me that never moved on. I turned slowly, and there she was, older, calmer, still unmistakably her. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Some silences don't need words. We sat across from each other again. Just like the first time. Different people, same tension. She smiled politely at first. Then more honestly. I didn't think I'd see you again, she said. I thought about you more than I should. I answered. Truth felt easier now. We skipped the small talk. Time had already taken enough. I noticed the way she still paused before emotional questions. Some habits don't disappear. They survive. She told me about her life. About mistakes. About growth. About nights that felt lonely even when she wasn't alone. I listened. Really listened. For the first time, I didn't interrupt my feelings with fear. When it was my turn, I didn't protect myself. I told her everything. About regret. About silence. About how I stayed away because I thought that was love. She closed her eyes for a moment. Like she was holding something back. Then she asked it. The question that had lived between us for years. Why didn't you ask me to stay? My chest tightened. Because I had asked myself that 1,000 times. I was afraid, I said quietly. Afraid you would stay, and one day realize you gave up too much for me. Tears filled her eyes. I was waiting, she whispered. Every single day. That was the moment everything broke open. Not loudly, but completely. We sat there in silence. Two people finally telling the truth too late. Or maybe, right on time. This time, I said slowly, I won't be quiet. She looked at me carefully. This time, she answered, don't promise what you're afraid to live. So we didn't promise forever. We promised honesty, and that was enough. We started walking again, carefully, no rushing. No illusions, just presence. Love at this stage doesn't rush. It breathes. We talked about fear openly. About what broke us. About what we needed now. And something incredible happened. The pain that once separated us became the thing that finally connected us. Some loves don't survive youth. They survive growth. I used to believe love meant letting go. Now I know better. Love means choosing. Choosing honesty over comfort. choosing courage over silence, choosing the risk of pain over the certainty of regret. I once believed letting her go was the most loving thing I could do. Now I understand. The bravest thing I ever did was finally asking her to stay. If this story stayed with you, if it reminded you of someone you never truly forgot, take a moment, like this video, subscribe to the channel. More stories are waiting here about love, regret, and second chances. You're not alone.